On the first day of Christmas, my true love sent to me a partridge in a pear tree.
So you've decided to collect for the Sega Master System, history's greatest console. Good for you. But where to begin? Well, if you're smart, you pop on eBay and get yourself a smart-looking Master System 1 for its superior video outing skills, and the all-important card slot for all manner of later shenanigans. You'll also get a Mega Drive controller, compatible with almost every Master System game, and a much more pleasant experience than old blocky here. But then what? Well, in this series we cover the 12 games you should buy first. Maybe not all the best, but 12 good games from a range of genres you can buy a box copy of on eBay for £10 including UK shipping each. What's this got to do with Christmas, you ask? Well, these are of course the 12 Master System games you should buy first of Christmas. On the first day of Christmas, my true love eBayed me Super Monaco Grand Prix. Okay, it's not the best Sega Master System racing game, but Super Monaco Grand Prix has 3 chief reasons for being on this list. Firstly, it's the only SMS game I can think of that remotely scans as a replacement for Partridge in a Pear Tree. Secondly, it's iconic. While this version actually, and sensibly, doesn't attempt to perfectly replicate the coin-op, if you're doing a Sega collection, you've got to have Super Monaco Grand Prix somewhere. After possibly Sonic, I would wager it's the 8-bit Sega title most people would know the name of. Thirdly, it's cheap. This sold well, and can now be picked up for a song on eBay. Weirdly, CEX don't even list it, presumably bundling copies as the sequel, which they will charge you an eye-watering £3.50 for. This one though is probably the better game. It's thought out well for the console. The championship is a series of quick-fire 3-lap races where you start last and have to work your way to the front to score. You don't have to win though. Top 6 gets you points just as in the real series at the time, and that's kinda nice. It's also not super punishing. I've been awful. And I've still scored points twice in 3 races, playing it both on emulator or, in this capture, on an Analogue Mega SG. Admittedly, all times behind the designated main rival. You'll be able to keep tabs on that main rival, because the game uses the permanent and CPU-sparing split screen taken advantage of by many early racing games, from Super Mario Kart to Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge. It's perfectly acceptable, especially if you're playing this on a modern screen. And, in a race of overtaking rather than, well, just racing, it's actually nice to have a marker on how well it's going. Plus, if the rival is ahead, he's a good preview of what's coming up. The driving model is simple, of course, but it's actually slightly more complex than the one in the sequel in terms of the need to slow down for, or at least anticipate corners, or you'll spin a lot. It wouldn't fool you into thinking it was realistic back then, and there's obviously no hugely physics-based relationship between your car and the track. Nonetheless, you'll quickly realise what it's doing, and there's an entertaining little driving game here. The addition of a basic setup option lending some surprising depth to a full season. As mentioned, this one is cheap. The last 3 sold on eBay at time of writing at £7, £6 and £6.20 shipped. Someone tried to get £8 and it didn't sell. Plus, you have another option. You might be aware of the Mega Drive Mega Games packs Sega put out, but less well known is they had one 8-bit attempt too, which has Super Monaco on. A copy of that can often be had for around a tenner, and includes a very nice version of the 16-bit game Columns, as well as World Soccer, which is absolutely a game that exists. Any alternatives? Well yeah, there's the much less well known and even earlier World Grand Prix, which plays a simpler, but some would suggest actually better looking game, in more of a classic time trial style. This one can go for even cheaper. You'll frequently be able to get it for under a £5 all in, even boxed. The king of Grand Prix Master System games can be had if you're prepared to stray just a little past the tenner. F1 by Domark shares a name with a 16-bit game, but very little else. The 8-bit port plays to the system's strengths, and almost feels like Sega released a 3rd Super Monaco Grand Prix at times. It's one of my favourites. Come back tomorrow and see if I manage to get something to work with Turtle Dove, or if we're already throwing that out the window.